Now time to have some fun. Episode 4 of our Monster Energy Racer X season preview videos for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship for 2022. Some great personalities, some great racers, people that we're glad are still at the races that'll be battling for spots in the main event. That's what we'll cover here in episode 4. Welcome to the beautiful PulpMX Studios. Jason Weigandt, I've been covering the races for over 2 decades as a journalist, 28 years as a professional racer. Jason Thomas, something like that. And Steve Matthes, factory mechanic for 2 teams. I don't know what difference that makes.
Yep.
Okay, so we couldn't say that like the great Mike Gosler was a former factory mechanic. We would have to name how many teams he worked for. That matters.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about somebody else besides ourselves. We love this group of riders. We'll cover in episode 4. I want to thank Monster, Fly Racing, Maxxis, Maxima, and DID for bringing you these episodes right here from the Pulp Studios. These riders are also very important in PulpMX Fantasy.
They are really key, JT, in PulpMX Fantasy. This group of guys
Everything
makes or
is
break
PulpMX
you.
Fantasy. Yeah, and for those who have never played before, first, you should definitely try it. But this is, as you're saying, this is where things get done. You have to pick the guys that they're a little bit boom or bust, right? But that boom is where you get all those points, and that's where you rack up the score at the end of the night.
Yeah, these are my people. These are great guys in this group of riders that we're going to
Triples,
talk
would you
about
say?
tonight. Triples.
Yeah.
Just take these guys. They're good dudes. They're fun dudes. They'll put in the main event. They'll represent your company well.
I mean,
It's
I feel like
fantastic.
I identify with these guys. I
Right.
was one of these
You
guys
would be in
for
this
a
group
very
in-
long time.
in 2005. This would be JT's group.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and all
You know,
the years he raced.
Watch out for Olaf and Thomas on Subway Honda.
So we really have 2 groups of riders here. There's a couple teams that are really well established. So we'll start at that group. These are not borderline main event guys. These are guys who would like to be in the top 5 or even podium. We'll start with the massive, growing Rocky Mountain ATV-MC WPS Fly Racing KTM team. They've kept Joey Savatgy on board. Justin Bogle is out. He's on a different team. We'll talk about Bogle in a bit. New teammates over there. Max Anstie moving from the Twisted Tea Hep Suzuki team over to the KTMs at Rocky Mountain. And Shane McElrath getting another shot. A washout of a rookie year for McElrath. Year 2, he's switching to this squad. Where are we at with these 3? These are established names.
Yeah.
Anstie, Savatgy, and McElrath. They're no slouches.
And they switched to the new Fly Zone Pro goggles.
Right
so,
there, that setup. They could be wearing that setup,
wow.
that setup right
there.
there. So that's a big switch for these guys. I feel like Shane McElrath, I said this, I don't know, on one of my dumb shows, but I mean, I just feel like he's the guy that literally no one is talking about.
There is no hype.
There's
right
no
now.
hype.
No.
He raced twice last year.
Yeah.
One of them he led a heat race for
Orlando.
5-6 laps or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Shane McElrath could be an absolute inside the top 10 guy every week. I think him and Joey Savatgy could be going back and forth here for top rider on that team. And I mean, I think we know what Joey can do, and we're all looking forward to seeing it. But man, I don't hear anything about Shane McElrath, and he could be a dude.
Yeah, he could. We would have no clue, really, on McElrath. No data from last year on a 450.
Well, I think we could all be shocked because think about how great Shane McElrath has been at the openers over the years, right? On the 250, he was lights out at these first rounds, so it's been very quiet. I'm actually going down to Florida to see these guys, so I may get a little bit of intel there, some insight as to how he's looking. But I think there's an opportunity for him to surprise a lot of people early because that's just who he is. He's a fast starter in the same vein of a Justin Barcia, where the beginning of the series really works for them. And if he comes in and people aren't expecting much, he could really, he could turn some heads.
One issue, though, bad back. I don't believe he's had surgery to fix it. I don't believe. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
And when you don't have surgery and you have a bad back, could happen, could strike again. So something to keep an eye on when Shane McElrath.
Well, weren't you surprised that he just never came back? Like, because we were all in Arlington, and he had flown there, and something happened on the plane. He said something went wrong on the plane. He had an injury on the plane with his back, and he on the flight. And I was like, okay, well, that doesn't sound severe, so we should see him soon. And then we just never saw him come back. So I don't have a ton of experience with back injuries. Steve, I know you do, but it is a little telling that he didn't have surgery. Maybe, I'm sure doctors were advising him, but going into the season, if it was bad enough where a flight put you out for the season, what does that mean? And I'm asking you, I know you're not a doctor, but what does that tell us?
I did stay at a Holiday Inn the other night, but no, absolutely, yeah, that's got to be an issue for me. I would be concerned if I was Forrest Butler over there at the Rocky Mountain team on, is this guy's back going to hold up? When it comes to the other team rider, Joey Savatgy, I felt like there were weekends where qualified 4th, qualified 6th, sort of got 6th or 7th in the main event, and you're like, okay, look at Joey.
Yeah.
And then literally, like, we were in those residencies last year, and literally the next 2 days later, he's just 14th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I felt like there were weekends where Joey Savatgy was on, and then weekends where we never saw Joey Savatgy.
Well, it's like you said, there isn't hype, but remember, there was a time when Savatgy and Cooper Webb were rivals. There was a time when McElrath and Chase Sexton were rivals. That's the level that they used to be in the 250s. So if you're the Forrest Butler group that owns this operation, you got to hope, maybe winging a prayer that these guys get it done. And they also have Max Anstie on the team. Look, Anstie didn't race Supercross for 10 years. He got hurt, missed in his comeback to America 2 years ago, missed half the races last year, but he was quietly fine at the end of Supercross last year. Made the mains, no problem. No huge crashes.
He was better than I thought, JT.
Yes, he was.
He was better,
than I thought.
and I think the consistency was a surprise for me. I didn't expect him to just – maybe I thought the ceiling could be a little higher for him, but I also thought there would be some really bad nights for him too, and it just didn't seem that way. So I think the big question for Anstie is I think we would all consider the move to this team and bike a step up. And that's not a slight against the Twisted Sea Suzuki team. I just feel like that equipment has taken further steps forward, right? They've won races in the past. They have a really strong...
They lost their factory bikes, though.
They did,
so
but
they don't have factory
they know
bikes
what
anymore.
to do with the motorcycle, right? They have a lot of data there.
They're on last year's models as well.
They are, right? So they don't have a ton of change there.
Right.
So what can he do with that bike? And that bike is not going to be too much different. Remember, he was on factory Rockstar Husqvarna in Europe in the MXGP series. So it's going to be a familiar frame to him. Like there's going to be some little subtle differences, but it's going to be familiar. So
your dog is making sounds.
What's happening?
Is he eating you?
He's biting my leg.
Your dog.
What's going on?
And I'm moving my leg, and he had it like in his death grip.
Okay, we're back. That was unbelievably unprofessional.
Steve, I'm glad you're okay.
I apologize for that.
Attacked by that rabid
I just
dog.
got attacked by a wild animal.
That's why they shouldn't be in your house.
I'm lucky to be alive.
Look, there is only one thing that can bring this show back together with a level of class and professionalism. You could shine it up with all the Maxima SC you want. We thank Monster, we thank Fly, we thank Maxxis and DID. But let's talk Justin Brayton. Let's get this show back where it needs to be with the Smart Top, Bullfrog Spas, Moto Concepts Honda team. Justin Brayton is looking good.
Look, the guy got a podium last year at round 2, right? He got a podium at Houston, looked great. Then he had a back injury an injury from there, and he had to step out of the series. But
thought he was going to retire at one point.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was. You know what the funny thing with Brayton is, and he'll tell you this because he's so honest. He's been around for so long.
Great guy.
He'll be like, "Hey, man, Matthes, if I start 7th, I can get 7th or 5th or whatever, or I can work forward. If I start 12th, I'm not doing it. I'm not coming up." So literally, folks, in 2022, watch Brayton in the first turn, and you can kind of know how his race is going to go. He can do whatever you want to do speed-wise if he gets to start.
Yeah, when he gets to start, he runs up there.
Yeah.
A couple times a year, and that's where you earn your money.
Well, and I think for Justin Brayton, we have never made as big of a deal out of the age thing that we did with Chad Reed and some of these things, but we need to. He's 37 years old. I mean, that's shocking that he's this competitive at 37. I mean, he got a podium last year. It was the first ever podium for that Zone Pro goggle that's on the table. I think that really needs to be the storyline. It's probably not one he would be super excited about as, look how old he is. But to be this good, and we haven't seen 2022 yet, but even 2021 to be that good at 36, that's saying something. That we don't see that very often. It's very rare air to be that competitive at that age. So I want to
think he can podium again, though.
I think he could, and I want to celebrate that because I just don't think he's gotten the fanfare of a guy like Chad Reed did. And I get it. Chad Reed is a bigger name and a legend of the sport and all those things, but Justin Brayton is damn good in his own right.
Weed, your guy, JB, also very good at Triple Crowns. They're back this year.
Yes.
And so, you know.
I will celebrate it. I will do my part. I'm willing to help you. Yes, celebrate. I will do my part. Now, by the way, Brayton, don't adjust your set. He was on the Muck-Off Honda team last year. He used to be on the Moto Concepts team. He's now back on the Moto Concepts team. So when you see the races this year, it will look a little different than it did last year. But this didn't change, right?
That did not change.
Okay, Fly Racing all the way. So that's like an upper tier. When you look at the Rocky Mountain team that's won races before, Brayton and Moto Concepts, they won Daytona a few years ago. There's some other riders, though, to cover here. These are the guys we honestly, we have as much fun watching them every night. We'll start, say, with the Maxxis SGB Honda guys now.
Hold on. I think I would put the Hep Suzuki guys in that JB Rocky Mountain group.
Sure.
Okay, they got Justin Bogle there, who I felt like at times.
He was literally on that team last year.
Yeah.
So he should be in that group.
No, but I feel like he was right with Joey Savatgy. many times. Joey
Yep.
probably had the more consistent, better finishes, but Bogle was right there, and now he's on Hep Suzuki, so that'll be a really good thing. Brandon Hartranft quietly got pretty good. End of the Outdoor Nationals.
Outdoors, he was
finally turned around in outdoors. Yes.
And there's a couple of good Supercross rides in there too. Brandon Hartranft, of course. So I would put this next group with those guys. I love Bogle as a personality in the sport, and all the things he's been through, and I hope he has success, and I think he can equal to what he did last year on this team, and I think Hartranft can equal what he did last year, and that is just outside the top 10 most nights, and some nights inside a top 10 finish.
I just hope Hartranft has put the beginning of his rookie 450 Supercross season behind him, because there were some terrible races about mid-season last year. He was getting eaten up in the LCQs. I hope that whatever he figured out in outdoors is going to make him a solid main event guy. He should not be making mains.
What do we think? What do we attribute that to? Was it lack of experience on the 450? Was it the Suzuki itself? Was it Brandon himself? Because the rider he was late summer versus the rider he was in like March.
Yeah.
Two totally
big
different
changes
people.
on the team. Big changes in the suspension department. Big changes on the motor department near the end of Supercross. That really helped out, and then they carried that over. So a lot of changes on that bike. RMZ obviously is a good. It's a good bike. Yes, you have to kickstart it, but it's still a really good bike for Supercross. Certainly got a lot of wins. So yeah, I think that the Hep Suzuki Twisted T Hep Suzuki guys should be in that next group of guys ahead of this next group that you're talking about.
I agree. Okay, so we're going to put Moto Concepts with Brayton, the trio there.
I'll put them in first. Put them first.
Yeah, I mean, again, they should be with Tomac and Webb, I think.
Right.
And then Twisted T Suzuki. Then we'll go to our guys on the Maxxis SGB team. This is, I feel, the most fun team to hang out with in the pits, and they've ramped it up because you have the rivalry, Alex Ray, Kay Clayson, now on the same team. If you're watching at home and you're saying, why would I care about these guys? I only care about the guys that win. These dudes are hilarious, and watching them battle on the same team in LCQ warfare is going to be awesome to watch.
Max is a big part of that team also. JT, low-key Clayson hype right now.
Really?
I just got back from club.
Okay.
Before I got to Club MX, I was getting text about it. Even guys that don't like Cade, like Phil, say he's riding well.
Sexton.
Yeah, say he's riding well.
Not a fan, right?
And I saw it from my own eyes. They're on Honda now. They were on Kawasaki. The team was on Kawasaki for a couple of years. They're on Honda now. Cade looks really good.
So what for the hype to be realized? What are we talking?
Just every main.
Okay, sometimes things happen. Sometimes you crash in the first turn in the LCQ and things happen. But
never happens to Chiz though.
It has happened. Make all the mains or close, and then sprinkle in a couple top 15s. That would be a successful year.
Yeah. You want to get to that. I feel like a Vince Freeze level where you're just the leader of the group of guys that aren't factory riders that don't get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. You want to be the leader of that group, and that's 15-ish, and that's where Cade could be.
That's a big leap. Now I've got a complete wild card. The Revzilla PRMX Kawasaki team has Justin Hill. Justin Hill is back. He's back in Supercross. This is the team that Clayson rode for last year. I do not know what to make of this. JT, do you know what to make of this?
He's a police officer, correct?
I don't know. He's trying to do that.
I have no expectations, no preconceived notions. I think it's cool that he's back.
Yeah.
I had no idea that he was going to be a police officer. I don't know. He might arrest Steve at the races. I know
He should.
Right.
He said criminal things about him. Yes.
So yeah, I think it's cool. I have an open mind to it.
Yep.
That's cool. You want to come back and race? Let's see it. We all know he's talented. But my question is how committed he is to this, right? If things aren't going well, is he going back and he's pulling people over by Tuesday night? Right? I don't know.
He's had such good equipment his whole career, and now he's on something that's not going to be as good. And I think he's going to have his eyes open as to, wait a minute, what? Like, that's where I think that part's going to struggle.
I had a feeling that someday we'd see a press release saying Justin Hill is coming back to racing. That already happened. It's pretty quick. They're living and training and riding at south of the border. His old buddy Matt Bisceglia is his trainer and coach. That would be a huge step for this team, which is a borderline main event team. With Hill, they have the potential to do big things, but we don't know if that Hill,
borderline,
south of the border line, I just don't know if it's that Justin Hill anymore. That's going to be interesting.
I can't imagine it's going to be 2018 Tampa Justin Hill.
No.
That's
passing Eli Tomac?
Right.
Probably not. But cool to have that in the mix, and who knows? The talent is there. There's no doubt.
I'm not picking him in Pulp Mix Fantasy first weekend. No way.
No?
No.
That may be your opportunity.
Yeah, no.
That's true.
There's no way. Like, I got to see multiple weeks of commitment.
Multiple weeks.
Yeah, commitment and speed
Right,
before I'm ready to
okay.
go for Pulp Mix Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple other riders I want to mention here. Benny Bloss is back. We have lost a rider that was on the Monster Energy Tedder racing team. Martin Davalos has retired. Steve, I'm sure you're still upset over this.
Yeah.
He will be a team manager for a 250 squad. The team later, we'll talk about that in our 250 show. Benny Bloss is now on the team.
Big year for Benny.
Yeah.
Big
Absolutely.
year, big guy.
Yeah, big year, big guy, good bike, good team. Really like Benny. Like Jeff, his dad.
Yeah.
Gonna karate kick
will
me in the
karate kick
face.
you in the face, yes.
But yeah, hopefully Benny can pull it together. You know, look, Marty made a podium on that bike. Did he get
Or
a podium?
almost. Just missed by a lap.
Nah,
Yeah,
he
a
got
couple
it. He
years
got
ago.
it.
Oh, as far as
so,
you're concerned, yes.
so the bike's good, support and everything else. So yeah, Benny.
And he almost ended up on this team last year.
Yeah.
So this has been brewing behind the scenes for
Yeah.
a long time to him to end up on this team. I don't think talent has ever been the question for Benny, but sealing the deal, getting the result has been. You go back to Salt Lake during COVID quarantine, the COVID 7 we had there. He almost gets a top 5 there, crashes near the end of the
Won a
race.
heat
got a
race.
podium.
Yeah. What's that?
He almost got a podium.
Right.
Almost got a
Yeah.
podium. Won
When
a heat
we've
race.
seen these races where he's almost getting it done, and something gets in the way. So I'm looking for him to take that next step and actually finish it off, right? And we did, like Unadilla, that first breakout moto he had, but in Supercross, something's gotten in the way, whether it's him, a crash, something. I just want to see him take that next step mentally and believe that he can do it.
When we're going to talk riders trying to make mains, we have to talk about the bar, the level that they all aspire to get to. My favorite moment of all of 2021, not just Monster Energy Supercross, of the entire year, better than any of my kids did.
Yeah.
Chizzing and winning the first LCQ of the year in Houston last year. We've been in a crazy world of COVID, pandemic. Is it real? Is it not? I don't know. I can believe in Chiz.
That's the worst take of 2021 previews.
I felt
so
like
far.
the world is going to be okay. If we're still living in a world where Chiz is winning LCQs, everybody's going to be fine.
You said it. You said, I believe, on the Pulp MX show that it was the moment of the year.
Yeah, my favorite moment of the year. Better than anything my kids did. Chizzing. We need things like chizzing in this crazy world we live in these days. And you know we're going to get it. Chiz is going to chiz again.
Yeah, Kyle Chisholm, the ultimate privateer, right, number 11 out there. And so I talked to Kyle the other day for about 30 minutes or so. And
One question you asked him?
Yeah, I just asked him once, and then it was 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He may have a team, actually, to help him out this year, a little bit of a team backing. Yeah, so I don't know if that's
A
official.
team that already exists, or he's putting one together?
No, team already exists is going to take him.
Smart move.
I don't know if it's official by the time we're taping this, so I don't want
Okay.
to say. But so he may not be just him and Gare Bear,
Okay.
the dad,
His dad.
out of a truck. Like he could have
With
a team
Ricky
and everything
Fowler
else.
backing?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what, Kyle, Chiz will chiz. He will make main events. He will frustrate these guys because there are certainly guys that can lay down a faster lap than Chiz, but can they go 20 minutes plus one than Chiz? No, they cannot. And yeah, absolutely, a veteran of the sport, somebody to be. I mean, seriously, we make a lot of jokes about him. We like to have a laugh at his expense, but a tip of the visor to Kyle Chisholm, man. The guy's solid.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
He's so old. He raced JT.
Yeah,
Like
I've raced him all over the world. I've had the pleasure of watching him race since he was a little kid. And you know, I think one of the big things we kind of gloss over as these guys are starting to get in their golden years, not going to be around. Chiz and Brayton both that are in this episode are just quality people. Like they are
I agree.
great people. We always judge them off results, and you know there's so much of that in racing. But off the bike, these are fantastic people that have been around the sport a long time, and we should give a tip of the cap to them in shows like this.
Kyle himself admits, though, like the chiz is going to chiz, and all, it creates some pressure for him.
Oh, it
so,
does.
Yeah. So we'll have to see this year if there's any drop off in the 11.
You might put more pressure on him with some of your ideas. You have some
Working
things that you're working on.
Yeah, I need a cap.
Can you just mention the Pulp Fantasy we did, why these guys are so important? It's this main event thing, the Boom or Bust. That's
It really
why.
is. The Pulp Mix Fantasy. Sign up now. You can play for free, or you can pay to win a bunch of really cool prizes, including 4 Yamaha motorcycles. So we like to give stuff away, and you don't even got to be good to win one of the Yamaha motorcycles. You just got to sign up, folks.
You can win one of those Formula helmets.
Yeah,
You can win all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You win Maxima, so you can do it all.
Okay.
So thank you to those guys, and sign up, and you'll see that Kyle Chisholm, Alex Ray, Kay Clayson, these are the type of guys that will make your weekend glorious, or make you,
You will
want
love
to
them or hate them.
throw yourself off a balcony.
Now, speaking of Yamaha motorcycles, speaking of these are good riders, we have one rider who's moved up to the 450 class this year, a veteran with 250s who has decided to graduate. Steve Matthes, tell us who this rider is.
Weege, in our sport, we have a bunch of riders in the 250 class that race year in and year out for years. And when they come close to pointing out of the class and going to the man's class, what do? They take dives. They stay home. They don't race. Not this man. Not this man. This man said, oh no, I am ready and willing after a few years in the 250 class to contest the man's.
Preparing. He was just getting ready, warming up to it.
To contest the man's class. Club MX Yamaha's Alex Martin, truly the Rudy of the sport, coming from nothing, working his way up, winning nationals, podium supercrossing, and now Alex Martin is in the 450 class, and he is ready. He's got a good team and a good bike, and he wants to give this thing a shot. And you know what? We, America, needs Alex Martin in these kind of times. We need someone to shine the light.
This is what we should all rally behind. As a nation, this is something we can rally behind.
Do we not want, as a nation, to voluntarily step into the ring, the army, the ring of fire of the 450 class? Alex Martin could have took the safety, the blanket of safetiness of the 250 class. Instead, he chose to dive into live ammo and the fire of the 450 class. And Alex Martin, everybody, will be riding the 450 class, and I'm here for it.
He's used to that type of treatment because now he is teammates with his supposedly good friend Phil Nicoletti, who has been helping us out on these shows. So let's ask Phil what he thinks of his muck-off Club MX Yamaha teammate. How will the Troll Train Alex Martin do in the 450s, Phil?
Better late than never. 14 years and we finally hit the big 450. So, yeah, very successful in the 250. A couple Supercross podiums, a couple outdoor wins, a couple outdoor podiums on a 250. But now he's with guys that have done that their entire life and won at 450 stuff. So, little man in a big field. I'm curious to see. I mean, I don't know. I think he'll be really happy the first couple with a 10 to 15th place. I think that would be a really good start. Alex has phenomenal corner speed, so I think that'll help him in the tight stuff. But yeah, I'm curious as well. I know some people think he's going to struggle, maybe not even make main events for the first couple, but I got a little bit of faith in Big Al. I'm pretty sure he'll put it between 10 and 15 and do good. He just needs to get a couple under his belt, figure out the program, be used to being around those big name guys instead of little 19-year-olds, and I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay, so there it is. I think a lot of people hear this list. We always talk about how deep the field is. We have more than 22 main event level guys.
We really do.
On the gate.
Yeah.
Any fear that Troll Train struggles to make mains? Because Phil says no problem. He's making mains.
Zero.
No concern.
He's an animal.
Yeah, okay.
What is he known for?
He's a troll.
What is he known for?
Making mains? I don't know.
Training.
What? Oh, training.
Training.
Oh, okay. All right.
So he's in shape.
Yes. Trolltraining.com.
Yeah.
Well,
he's
being in shape doesn't really
help in the
factor
LCQ.
in the qualifying.
Yeah.
What saddens me about JT's attitude about Alex Martin over the years, what saddens me is he is a shorter stature guy. Alex Martin is as well. He's shorter than JT, right? He is.
He is shorter.
Yes.
But you paint me in a light where I have something against Alex Ray. I'm sorry, against Alex Martin.
This
Why?
should be a
Why
man,
would you do that?
This should be a man you openly root for.
I do. But it's hard. It's hard to go up against anything that you do in this arena because you want to crown him as the Supercross champion. Like, you go so far past any sort of reality.
It is ridiculous when people do that. They pick one rider,
right,
and they just constantly sing their praises.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous and unprofessional.
Yeah, it is.
And not really.
You're right, Weege.
You shouldn't
You're
have
right.
credibility.
You're right. And so this is Alex Martin is the hero that we need in 2022.
Okay, what are just like the question with Cade? What do we consider success with Amart?
Same thing.
Make all the mains. So you have Cade and Amart as the same riders? I have Amart as a much better rider.
Just lead the group of guys after the factory guys. Be that guy after the factory guys. That's where Troll needs to shoot for.
I have 10 to 15 as his landing zone. Like, if he's 10 to 15 week in and week out, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I put Troll's ceiling higher. He has more experience, not in the 450 class, but he has more experience than Cade. I could see as the season goes on.
He's won a national.
Exactly. Can he top 10 a 450 Supercross? I believe
He's won
so.
multiple nationals.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. To put him and Cade in the same sentence is not fair to Amart.
No.
That's
and he could have taken the safety of the 250 class and all the money and glory that comes with that. But oh no. Oh no.
His brother's still in the 250 class.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for this show. Pulp Fantasy, it's all going to hinge on these guys, and we love the personalities in the pits. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think you could put any more shine on Alex Martin
no,
than
I'm
you're going to
putting-
do. But you're
the
about to do
shine's
it.
on Alex Martin.
Oh,
The shine is
shocking.
on Alex Martin. SC1
unbelievable. Okay.
on Troll Train. Let's do this, Troll Train.
All right, well,
Let's do this.
Where the rubber meets the road, thanks to Maxxis tires and a DID rim, Justin Brayton has kind of sort of said it's his last year. No. Let's get another podium and rack it back up for 2023. Make it happen, JB. Get us back to the races next year. I hated the fact that you always want to talk about Alex. You're so biased about Alex Martin. It's crazy. We'll see you for our 250 show coming up next. Thanks to our sponsors, Monster Energy, RacerX, DID, Fly Racing, Maxxis, and Maxima.